Hi, so today I wanted to show you a real quick tutorial on using Quizlet Live and Google Meet with your students. Quizlet Live is a really great tool to help review academic vocabulary with your students in a fun, gamification, engaging way. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is log into my Quizlet account. And one of the things that I like about Quizlet is that it is synced with your Google account if you have one. So I'm going to log into mine. And this is your home page. So typically, you may have heard of Quizlet before when you review academic vocabulary using their features like the flashcards or the test yourself. But one way to use it with your students is to run a Quizlet live game. Now, because we are going to be using it with a Google Meet, I'm going to show you how to use this with teens, but you could always assign this to your students individually as well. I like to give them the definition and they have to find the answer, but you have this other option as well where it gives them the term and they have to match it to the definition. Okay, so once you launch a live game, you are going to be seeing a screen like this where you are going to be given a code. So what your students will do is they are going to go to Quizlet.live, very important. So if this is the first time that you're running a Quizlet live game with your students, I recommend giving them the URL because sometimes they'll go to Quizlet.com and have a hard time with it. So I'm going to join with my devices and I will be right back. Okay, so now you can see that all the players have joined. This is where you are now going to create the game with those players. So I have myself and then the 3 other players. You have to have at least 4 players to launch a Quizlet live game with teams. You can do the individual one, obviously, with a smaller amount. So once you do this, it's going to place all of your students into the different teams. So here I have chameleons and I have stingrays. One thing that I really like about Quizlet Live is if you need to vary up how it actually grouped the team. If you need to vary up how it grouped the team, you can always click the Shuffle Teams button right here, and it's going to regroup your students. So once you have that done, this is where you're going to now pause. So what I would do at this time is maybe have your students do a bell ringer, a quick write, something that you can use to take a little bit of time to create your Google Meet breakout rooms. So I have this template that I created for Quizlet, and I'm calling it the Quizlet Breakout Zoo because Quizlet uses animals in order to make up the teams, and I thought this would be a cute little variation. So if you like this template, I'm going to link this down in the video below. So what you're going to do is you are going to create a different Google Meet for each team. In this case, because I only have 2 teams, then I'm going to be creating 2 different breakout rooms. So however many you have, that's how many you would create. So you do this by going to, let me show you up here, to this URL, meet.google.com. I'm going to click the plus where I join or start a meeting. And I'm going to title my breakout rooms just with how I have them on my little template that I'm sharing with students. So I have 1, and I'm going to create another one. And let me just go ahead and turn off my mic and camera so we don't get feedback over here. And I'm going to create my second one. Perfect. So now that you have that, now what you're going to do is you are going to hyperlink your template that you're sharing with the students that has the the Quizlet Zoo meeting. So I'm going to highlight the URL on top and I'm going to copy that. Then because this is my breakout room 2, I'm going to go over here on my little map, my zoo map, and I'm going to click. So I have actually created invisible shapes to go on top of each little breakout room sign. So you'll just click on top of there. And then I'm going to go across to my little hyperlink icon. And I'm just going to paste the URL there and apply it. I'm going to do the same thing for my Meet Room 1. And again, that's going to be right here, hyperlink, and paste. You would do the same process for however many groups you have, depending on the amount of students that you have in your class with what you're trying to run this Quizlet live game. So once you have that accomplished, what you are going to do is you are going to be sharing this with your students in order for them to join the breakout rooms. So in order to do this, you're going to share, and I'm going to just copy the link. And I would paste this into, if I was meeting Google Meet with my students in a separate, right, this is not one of the breakout meets, I would be pasting that into the chat for the students. And so let me just show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to join. Let's say this was with the meeting with students that I already had going. That's like your initial meet. And I'm going to join this one. So what I would do is in the chat with everyone, I'm going to paste, remember I copied the URL from the share on the Google little slides here. I'm going to paste it in the chat. And over here, let me highlight my mouse. Over here in the URL, I'm going to delete this area and I'm going to write preview and send it to my students. So what this does is it takes them to the slide without having to preview it or go into view mode. So I'm going to click the URL just so you can see what the students would see. And as you can see, it takes them to what they are going to see in the preview mode. So now what I would do is I'm going to go back to my Quizlet live game and I'm going to say, okay, Mustangs, you're going to be in breakout room 1, and then Rhinos, you're going to be in breakout room 2. So in the chat, I would tell my students that. Rhinos, breakout room 2, and then Mustangs, breakout room 1. So now they know where they're going to go. So on the Google slide, if I was a Mustang, I am going to click breakout room 1. And as you can see, it takes me to that breakout room. It says the title there and everything, which is great. And so once you have all your students in their breakout rooms, now you can launch your Quizlet live game. So I would then, once everybody's in their breakout rooms, I would then click start game. And on the students' devices, now they have where this is what the students are going to be seeing. They are going to see the definition. And then as you can see, they are in groups of 2. They're in pairs. And so one of them has the correct answer. So how fast the wind is blowing. So between myself or David, we would have to see what that would be. So when students get the answer right, it colors it green, and when they get it wrong, it will be red. So for example, let's just say I hit meteorologist, which is wrong, right? It's going to say it's wrong, and then it'll tell you the right answer. It actually self-checks, which is great to help them to review for vocabulary. So the next time you come across that question, they can do it. And so the students would continue, and then they would be able to collaborate with each other. Then you as a teacher can actually toggle in between the different meets that the students are in, and you can actually see the conversations going on. So that is a way that you can run Quizlet Live through Google Meet with your students. I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and I hope your students have a great time engaging with Quizlet Live virtually. Thanks for watching. Bye.